Last time on Cat Powered Combat, the sneak realizes his game sucks and seeks redemption by training his combat system in the hyperbolic time chamber. He becomes 7 times as strong, but there's still one major hurdle in his way.
A few months back, I had my sister-in-law playtest Cat Powered UFO. This was her 4th time playing through the game, so she's pretty good at it by now. She got up to the boss effortlessly, but after only a few attempts she stopped. I asked her what was wrong, and her answer made something click in my brain. She said that she knew she could beat the boss, but that she was basically praying to RN Jesus every run to get a win. You see, the boss isn't so different from the rest of the game. The battle works like all the battles before it. The difference is the size of this battle. The boss has a lot more HP and can dish out a lot more damage than any other enemy. So what was the problem here? Is it RNG in general? There is a lot of RNG in Cat Powered UFO, and it hadn't been a problem for her until this point. No, it had to be some specific aspect of this randomness that was too overbearing. If you watched the last Cat Powered combat video, you might remember I spoke about polishing the combat system by adding a way to dodge attacks. With the feedback I'd heard from my sister-in-law, I saw how having player input on when you take damage wasn't a matter of polish, it was a necessity. Imagine this simple dice rolling game. You roll 1 dice, and if you don't roll high enough, you lose a point. Let's say in this game you can take actions to lower the minimum number required to lose a point. This is basically what the damage taking mechanic was in Cat Powered UFO. You could tilt your enemies to make them less likely to attack you, but when RNG determined that they would attack you, the player had no recourse. You took the damage. It's not that this system is bad. It works well for certain games. Pokemon, for example. But in Pokemon, the other game mechanics make up for this weakness. The game has more emphasis on what Pokemon you choose to use and what moves you decide to teach them. When you lose a fight, you feel like you could have picked different Pokemon or different moves and the outcome might have been in your favour. In my own game, the other game mechanics were not prevalent enough to have players overlook this RNG based system. They were only tolerated up until this point because of the relatively low difficulty. The boss fight was not afforded such forgiveness. So I could see that a system to give players control over their own destiny as far as taking damage goes was a must-have. But how would I go about it? What was the best way to achieve this? The attacking minigame is unique to each battle, but I decided that the dodge minigame should stay consistent throughout the whole game. This is so the player can feel as though they're improving on a skill. After all, I want people to feel like they have control over the outcome, and making it different each time would take away from this. I think the minigame I came up with fits the game real well. It's achievable, but I doubt many players will be able to win it 100% of the time. After all, you don't want people to never take damage. It's wacky enough in its theme that it fits with the rest of the game with just a touch of trolliness. I feel as though the game is a lot more complete and fun with this dodging minigame, and I'm extremely happy with how it turned out. I'd actually love to have a few more playtesters have a go and tell me their experience with it. There is one more big change, one that I feel will add a lot of strategic options and the ability for players to customize their experience in the game. But this video is too long as it is, so I'll tell you about that another time. Bye!